Hey K-drama fans, this is our Astro Corner where we take a completely different look at our favorite Hallyu actors, actresses, and pairings. And because we know how much you all loved Kim Soo Hyun and Seo Ye Ji, we're diving into their chemistry and it's okay to not be okay.
So if you are new to our channel, welcome. You have found the most fun K-drama hangout on YouTube. And these Astro Corners, we know we haven't done one in a while and you've been waiting for them. And this couple, oh my gosh. So if you like what you see, please subscribe. Our goal is to get to 5,000 subscribers by the end of the year. So help us do that. Help us bring in your K-drama friends because let's talk about it's okay to not be okay.
All right, let's do it, Marisa. Full disclaimer. They were in the show. They were not my favorite couple, but I recognize their chemistry, and that's what we're looking at. We're looking at what it was between the actors themselves that made the chemistry between those two characters so freaking poppin'. So let's look at the first one. First, we got Kim Soo Hyun. He was born February 16th, 1988, which makes him an Aquarius. Now, this is his chart, you guys. So he's loaded in Aquarius over there. He's got a sun, he's got a moon, he's got a Mercury. And then he's got a little bit of fire. He's got that Mars and the Mercury and fire. So he's got that air fire popping energy, right?
Because he's got, I mean, his charisma and his presence is undeniable. So I want to learn more about where that's coming from.
Okay, for sure. Well, I think a big part of it is when you look at his chart like this, it's because first and foremost, it's Aquarian energy. So his Aquarian energy is going to make him right out of the gate be someone who's going to be a little bit outside the norm, right? So I think there's something about him. We always talk about him being otherworldly. Like when he played the alien, which is one of his first big roles, right? Or at least the first one I recognize him in. He automatically tapped into that otherworldly idea. But Aquarius also is about, it's also about cultivating friends and groups. So he's really good at gathering people together and to him. So he's got that energy that makes people want to be around him. And then he's not going to play by the norm. And so people are fascinated by him. Then you add that fire energy, which makes people like want to take notice of him because he's always getting stuff done. So that's, I think, a big part of that.
Yeah, so you mentioned My Love from Another Star, which is probably like for some of us who are fairly new to K-dramas, like that was the huge drama where we totally noticed him with Jun. And it was just like, it was a massive hit. And he played a character who was who literally was from another star. So
exactly. But that's what I'm saying. Like he kind of tapped into that otherworldly vibe that kind of I feel he has all the time. Now, if you look at Seo Ye Ji, she is an Aries, right? So she's right out of the gate, that fire energy. She's in April 6, 1990. So then you look at her chart, but I think you'll also notice, while she's got those two fire elements over in her sun and her moon, she's got she also has 3 planets in Aquarius. So she's also got a ton of Aquarian energy. Hers happen to be in Mercury, Mars, and her North Node. North Node, as you guys know, it's really key. So that we're going to dive into what that looks like. So let's go ahead and take a look at the two of their charts side by side. All right. Do you see a similarity here?
Yes.
Right? You got all that Aquarian energy. You've got the 2 red. They each have 2 red planets. So that fire energy. She's got the only outlying Earth energy there in Taurus, right? As her Mercury, which gives her a little bit of that grounded energy. And then they have both of them have a little dash of water, which I find super fascinating, which gives them more of that emotional heft. Basically, what I realized is the reason, at least my opinion, is that the reason they were so dynamic together, and they're almost the same person, you guys. So it's super fascinating to me that they had so much of the same energies going forward. So if you take a look at like all of their planets, right? So you look at all of this Aquarian energy.
Wow.
Like, look at that. Like he is a sun, moon, Mercury. She is a Venus, Mars, North Node. Like that's like almost all your personal planets, and they together combined all of that. So you've got 2 people who are very much living outside of what they call them the rebels, right? They call them rebels, but they're also fixed sign. So they believe in wherever they are outside the norms is the right way to do it. It doesn't so they're very fixed in those ideas of the fact that they are outside those norms. So Kim So Hyun comes at it as that's his life force. It's also his emotional stability, and it is how he communicates. Now, for Seo Ye Ji, it is how she relates to other people and how she takes action, and it's also what she's working towards in this lifetime. So the fact that their chemistry was just in this show does not surprise me at all. So it didn't even matter what the script said. We were all going to be like, so pretty and perfect together. We love them so much, because that's what it was. Like they just came at these characters with that outside, I don't want to say outsider in a bad way, but more that rebel energy, or more of that, I mean, it's kind of what their characters were. They all worked outside of what the societal norms were. And that's how they forged their paths. Hers was more aggressive, but she's got that Aries energy as her sun. So of course it was going to be more aggressive, right? So, I mean, let's just look at their charts again. So she's got that Aries energy coming at you. And then she's got a moon in Leo. So you have to pay attention to her. So that was totally her character, right? Like that was her character times a bajillion. That was exactly what that was. And then you look at his chart, and he was more that he's taking action as more a Sagittarian flavor, which is about being the wanderer and finding your own path. And that was, again, totally, the whole ending of the show was about him wanting to take that road trip for like months on end, right? And yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
No, that's totally Moon Young. And I think that's why she was she connected with the audience so well, because she was so different and she was so take charge, and people were like, oh yeah, I'm going to pay attention to her.
Exactly.
And so as you're moving through the 16 episodes, trying to wait for her and Kangtae to come together, it was just like, well, they were together a lot earlier, but like if he was going to, give in to her be swayed by her, it was like, but you could see it that they're meant to be together,
right?
As different as they are, they're the same. Does that make sense?
No, exactly. That's what the astrology says. Different, but the same, because they have all of those planets that are playing well together. Their energies completely mesh together, and that's what's so fascinating. So if we just take a look so as we already looked at this one, right? So we're looking at all of that Aquarian energy. Then let's just look at the individual aspects that made this energy. I mean, you can just look at it this way and be like, done, story over, they're perfect, right? But let's break it down a little bit, you guys. You have almost an exact conjunction, Moon and Venus. His sun is at 26 Aquarius. Her Venus is at 29 Aquarius. So who he is, what his life force is drawn to how she likes to relate to people. And the way she likes to relate to people is drawn to how his life force is. So Did we see that play out a few times?
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit, right? Crazy. So let's just keep going. Then you've got his Mercury. So how he likes to communicate to people is at 16 Aquarius. And it's basic, and then her Mars is at 18 Aquarius, and her North Node, so who she is here to be in this world, is at 14 Aquarius. His Mercury is sitting smack dab in the middle of those. So it's one huge conjunction of communication, life purpose, and taking action between the two of these people, right? So boom, automatic camaraderie and understanding of each other. So just as acting partners, these two were going to pop on screen, whether they were adversaries, lovers, second leads, whatever. They were going to have some poppin' energy regardless. And it was going to be a little bit off kilter because of all that Aquarian energy, but they were going to make everybody want to get to become a part of it, because it is about friends and groups, right? And I feel like that is what we saw. Even though both of them were kind of prickly people, right, in the show, they had large groups, not maybe not large, but substantial groups of people who loved them regardless. And so that I feel like also played out. So then let's start layering in some of the fire aspects of it, right? Now we're looking at Aries. So not only do they have all of this Aquarian energy that matches. They have Aries energy that matches. So look at this, you guys. You've got not only do you have the sun Venus in Aquarius, you've got what's called in astrology terms a double whammy also in Aries. So both of their suns are conjunct both of their Venuses. This is like the biggest aspect out there for truly liking someone, whether it's romantic or whether it's not. So these two were going to get along again, regardless of what the script said. That energy was going to pop, and we were all going to be like, yes.
I think that's the thing, because this show was massive and this chemistry was just oozing off of the screen, whether she was yelling at him or, you know, forcing him to do something, or whether he was running away or whether they were together. It was always just electric.
It was completely electric. And that's because you've got air and fire. It wasn't water and earth, which God bless. I got a ton of that in my chart, and it's very lovely and soothing and grounding. Not the most dynamic of energy, but you've got like Aquarian, which is all about sudden insight and sudden ideas and sudden like exciting, popping, like rebel energy, right? With Aries, which is all about getting shit done and jumping into the fray before you ask a single question. So the fact that these two are popping with that, not even a once I took a look at their charts, I was like, oh, this is I'm in a losing battle on this one. I will just stop talking about it because it's making me crazy, because their chemistry is undeniable, right? I will never argue that. I may quibble on the script, but these two, their two chemistry, on fire, right?
Yeah.
Right?
So much.
So much. So then you layer in her moon, right? Which is over here in Leo. Again, that fire energy, which, dear Lord, as a owner of a Leo moon myself, she just wants to, Komu Young was all of this, was the embodiment of a Leo moon. You must pay attention to me. Like, that's just what a Leo moon is, right?
Yes.
It's all about, you must pay attention to me. And if you don't, you will see my wrath. I mean, that's just where we feel emotionally comfortable. It's to be seen. The whole idea behind Leo is that it's not real unless it's actually seen. And so to not be seen when he would dismiss her would just cause her to be like, again, I'm not dismissing the amount of acting that went on. It was very good. But Seo Ye Ji didn't have to go horribly deep to tap into that, because it was already there.
Right. So all of these things that are written as the character are so grounded in who she is that it just is so explosive on the screen. And you just, again, totally undeniable.
Undeniable.
Yeah.
So then let's just look at some of the aspects we've got here, right? So as we always talk about, moons are important. Their moons are in opposition. He has an Aquarius moon and she has a Leo moon. So they automatically are trying to balance each other from an emotional standpoint, which again, I think we saw over and over again in the show, which is amazing because, again, I keep saying this over and over again, but that's why you guys are here. You want to know what the astrology was that made this couple so amazing. It's that they were constantly in that battle. Sometimes he outweighed her, sometimes she outweighed him. And when they finally found that balance is when it was like, right? It's the Aquarian versus the Leo. But when you find that balance, they play really well together. And then, as we always talk about, that sun-moon combination is like considered one of the greatest synastry combinations there is. Again, Aquarian sun to a Leo moon. So you've got that in opposition there again. So that balance, that idea of balance again, which I feel like we saw over and over and over again from the very first episode to the very end. As small children, it was balanced. The balance was outweighed. And so they even worked through, as they found more balance, is how that relationship became more and more healthy. Sure, we'll go with that.
So here's the thing with K-dramas, particularly if you're new to K-dramas, like maybe you stumbled on It's Okay to Not Be Okay on Netflix and you've maybe watched one or two others. There's only 16 episodes. You don't have like 3 seasons for everyone to like kind of get to know each other and your lead actors to like, connect over time. And like the 3rd season of an American show is usually the best one. But 'cause they've got 16 episodes and they've got to nail it fast. And so when they already have this kind of like pop and synastry, ooh, you could tell, which is why this show is such a huge hit.
Such a huge hit. Absolutely, Maria. That's exactly it, Marisa. So I don't know if Korean casting agents are utilizing chemistry, but are astrological synastry charts, but
they should be.
They should be, because this is gold, people. This coupling was gold. And if you guys watched our weekly watch list, you know, I don't say that lightly.
No, because how many shows have we dropped because the chemistry just wasn't there at all?
At all.
You know?
The script was great. The story was great. But the chemistry, not happening at all. So I just want to take a look at a couple other real quick ones. So we layered in her Leo moon. Now we're going to layer in his Sagittarius Mars. So again, we have that fire energy. So we look at this setup, you guys. Look at this. You have all Aquarius and all fire. Like, it blows my mind how similar these two were and what kind of actual synastry was occurring. And then you add that Sag wandering energy, that need to learn, that need to grow, that need to expand, that Kim So Hyun actually has in real life. And it just fits Kang Tae so perfectly. Like, he wanted to break out of his bubble. He wanted to break out of the cocoon, all of that. And it's just it's so Sag energy right there. And it plays so well with all of her energy. Like, you really could not have cast two better people for this. You just couldn't have. Like, it's mind boggling. Am I saying they should date in real life? No, I think they're too similar in real life. I think that would be a problem.
Oh.
But would they be fast friends? Will they be really good friends? Absolutely. They will genuinely like each other. But sometimes when you have too much like on like, it just is what it is. That's just the way the world goes sometimes. You're just like, wow, you're too much like me and I gotta go stage left. That's too much reflection in the mirror for me. I gotta go. It's kind of funny. So we're just going to look at a couple of more aspects here. This is called a sextile, which is where it's like it basically plays really well together, right? So it's that fire to air aspect. It plays really well together. So they've got a double whammy again with Venus, but this time it's Venus Mars, which is considered the creme de la creme of basically sexual attraction, right? So we play really well there. You got his Venus at 7 Aries, and then her Mars at 18 Aquarius. It's wide, but it's still in the same energy, you guys. But look at his Mars in 25 Sagittarius to her Venus at 29 Aquarius. Come on, poppin' and hot.
that pretty much describes them. Poppin' and hot.
We can just keep going and going, but it just comes back to these same elements, air and fire. Wanting to share all of your intellect and everything with somebody and then taking action on it. Like, this is the bubble that they live in as themselves. So you throw that into a script and it's gonna just fireworks, people, fireworks. And then you just got these two outlying planets. Like, she's got a Taurus Mercury. So she's going to have more of a grounded way that she's going to communicate. It's going to be it's going to give a little bit of friction to it's going to give a little bit of friction to the Aquarian energy, because those are all fixed signs, which I think also works. So you've got that friction right there, which I feel like we saw going on. So all that Taurus energy is going to square all that Aquarian energy of his. So that's where we got the kind of the fighting that they had at the beginning, right? Uh-huh. So you automatically, again, they didn't have to reach too far or dig too deep to be able to tap into these ideas that were already in the script. The reason I'm going to mention this is that the other outlier here is his North Node is in Pisces, which is a water sign. So he is, in this lifetime, he's got the Virgo South Node, which is going to play nicely with her Taurus, right? Her Mercury and Taurus. But what I think is more important is that he's got that Pisces North Node, which is all about more emotion and unconditional love. And we've talked about that a few times. And the reason I bring that up is because every time we talk about a woman, we always look at where her Black Moon Lilith is. Her Black Moon Lilith is over here in Scorpio, you guys.
Ooh, hey.
Oh, hey now. Hey now. So her Black Moon Lilith, or as I like to call it, her innate femininity, her raw sexuality, right? It can get dark, right? We all know Black Moon Lilith, it can be a little bit of the darker side, but I also feel like it is our hidden divine feminine, right? And hers is over in Scorpio. So she's going to want to get deep. She's going to want to dive in there. She's going to want to like just pull up all the guts. And come on, that was her character all day long, you guys. And that plays so nicely with that North Node in Pisces, right? It's not gonna redefine romance, but it plays well. That need for unconditional love is gonna want that from that energy over there in Scorpio. So they do have a bit of that water connection. So that's basically the breakdown. They were on fire from before they even opened page 1, right? Like it's just. This story was it was a beautiful dark fairy tale, and they were the two perfect people to play it. I mean, that's just what it is, right?
That's for sure. Yeah. Holy cow.
Right?
Yeah, this show was like a global hit, and you can't do it alone with just the script. You have and even great actors, but when it comes together like this, when literally the stars align like this, oh my goodness, it's fire. Yeah.
It's such fire, right? And I love doing these Astro Corners so much because it gives for me, and hopefully for you, and I'm guessing you as well, but it just gives me another perspective on what the story was and why it worked and why certain stories work and why certain stories don't, And so their chemistry was undeniable. And that is just a fact, people. Hashtag facts. And this is, in my opinion, exactly why.
So good. So good.
Yay. All right, you guys. I hope you enjoyed that as much as we did. We are the K3. I'm Jen.
I'm Marissa, and you are part of this K-drama copy clutch. So please subscribe. We want to get to 5,000 subscribers before the end of 2020, because 2020.
Oof. 2020. Oof. You were a year.
You were a year.
Or 85 of them.
So tell your friends about us, follow, and tell us who you want us to do, or Jen to do an Astro Corner on. We want to hear from you.
Absolutely. And if you guys want to catch up on some of our older Astro Corners about other fantastic Hallyu actors and actresses and pairings, you can go ahead and check them out right there. There's an entire playlist. And we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.